Good morning, everybody. Just getting positioned here with my little puppers. She's being a bit of a whiner today. She needs some mama time. So today we're back again, GMP. Today is day 18, I believe. And believe it or not, we're still talking product specifications. It's quite a big range of different things that we need to cover in our product specifications. Today's subtopic is confirmatory testing. So this is really, when you get down to it, it's about stability testing of your products. It's about proper transport and storage of your products. And it is about documenting what a confirmatory testing program would look like within your business. So the notes that I have today to go over are based off of the Natural Health Products Regulations and how they define this confirmatory testing. Now, if you are a cosmetic maker, you will be more interested in just the microbial testing, which we will talk about also. But for the intents and purposes of today's session and this confirmatory testing, I'm just going to go over what the health regulations say about it and how we can incorporate that into our businesses. So a confirmatory testing program, independent of the manufacturer, is encouraged and provides added assurance of a product's quality when it is manufactured by a supplier. So these would be things like your herbal oils that you order in, your butters that you order in, anything that is a prepared product that you are receiving in. So a multi-ingredient prepared product. So it says here, the following outlines an example for a confirmatory testing program. Their example states, fully test against specifications the first lot of product received from each supplier for each product. Now, how can we do confirmatory testing? Some of the ways that we can complete that, it says here, conduct complete confirmatory testing against specifications on at least one lot per dosage form per supplier per year. So what they're looking for is they're looking for microbial testing. They're looking to ensure that the microbial count is below a certain number. They're looking to know if any pesticides were used in the preparation of the raw ingredients that went into the product that we're talking about. They want to know about pesticides and if anything was used for that. They're looking at heavy metals. They're looking at solvents. And basically they're just looking to ensure that the product that you are receiving from your supplier is in fact the product that you are looking for and that your product specifications match. So if you say that a product is organic and that is one of your claims that you're using, then the expectation would be that any of your raw materials that go into that product have 0 pesticides, because then they wouldn't be organic. And so basically it's optional according to this, according to the way that the regulations have written it. It says, and I'll repeat it again, a confirmatory testing program independent of the manufacturer is encouraged. It doesn't say it's mandatory, it says it's encouraged. So what they want to know is they want to know if it says it's organic, that it is definitely organic, that there are no pesticides included. But perhaps what your confirmatory testing could be would be the MSDS sheet, would be the product spec sheet from the manufacturer, identifying the testing that they have performed to indicate there's no pesticides. There's lots of different ways to go about presenting something like this. For myself, one of the ways that I do it is I do stability testing here at home. I do a temperature test, I do a vibration test, and I do the dip slides tests to ensure microbial counts and things like that. And there's lots of different ways that we can ensure our products meet the regulations. I would suggest, if you are writing up your good manufacturing practices, that somewhere in there you do have a confirmatory testing protocol to satisfy the I guess the expectation, if not the requirement, of Health Canada. And it can include all of the things that I just said. It can include, maybe we're talking about your confirmatory testing program includes assessment of all product specification sheets from manufacturer and their associated lab results. It could be that simple. And then what you would have to show as proof of that is a copy of your manufacturer's product specification, or sorry, your supplier's product specification sheet. And then you could go through and check off the areas that indicate that yes, it is organic. And then you attach to that, obviously, a checklist that you'll go through and sign off on. And it can be as simple as that. They give a couple of different options here, exceptions to the rule. So one of the exceptions here, it says an exception to I want to say microbial. An exception to microbiological contaminants testing would be acceptable if the manufacturer is able to demonstrate any of the following. So if there's low water activity, then they would be okay with being able to say that the microbial count would be low because the microorganisms require high water content in order to survive and to flourish. So if you were to do a water-free formula, an anhydrous formula, then it would be that low water activity, but you would need evidence to show that that formula is indeed low in water. It could also be an exception to antimicrobial properties. So maybe your product is built with antimicrobial raw materials. So maybe you have your proper preservatives in it, and maybe you have the data from the supplier on the preservatives that will indicate that it's good at this and this range. So again, that would be your proof. So if you have that paperwork in order, then you don't require, this is an exemption, and you won't require the confirmatory testing program. Another one is proposed frequency of microbial testing to be performed on subsequent batches. So if you do have a confirmatory program in place, it could be that you're testing every 10th batch, or testing 3 times a year, or testing, once every 6 months, if you have the proper documentation from your supplier. So there are ways to work within this and to work around this that aren't as painful as what it actually sounds like. Here's another exemption for chemical contaminants. And this is a great one, especially for things that I know a lot of us as makers are using. A lot of us are using organic products, and we're coming up with an organic final product. Some of us may even have our EcoCert certifications. I'm not sure. But I do know that if you have your organic raw materials, those have to be eco-certified or Canadian organic certified, or there's various organic certifications, right? But if you have all of your raw ingredients and each raw ingredient meets this, let's say, EcoCert certification, then you would be exempt from having to provide pesticide testing because your suppliers of raw materials have already provided the eco-certification to you. So there are a lot of ways to work around having to do these confirmatory planning and programs within our companies. Another exemption here, sorry, I'm just reading this as we're going through it. So solvent testing, if solvents are not used in the manufacturing process, that's an exemption. So we would not have to test for solvents if we can provide proof that our manufacturer, our supplier, does not use solvents in the manufacturing. So again, if we have those solid documents, then we don't need to provide the confirmatory testing. So this goes back to yesterday and the day before, and I think the day before even that, when we were talking about your product brochures that you get from suppliers, the MSDS reports, any GCMS testing that was completed, Any of the lab results and lab testing that you are supplied with or can get your hands on from your supplier is going to be to your benefit. So I have mine set up in like a streamlined database where I do my inventory like I was showing you yesterday. If you scroll all the way to the other side of that spreadsheet, I have a link to my MSDS sheets according to each individual ingredient that I receive in. And what this provides is it provides proof and evidence to Health Canada if ever Health Canada wants to audit me. If they ever want to go through my processes and my business setup, all they have to do is look at that one spreadsheet and then click on the link on the far right side, and it will take them to my product documentation. And that product documentation at the end of the day is going to be the confirmatory testing. So my suggestion is when you're writing up a good manufacturing practices manual, you include a section for your confirmatory testing program. And in that program, you specify that you will test raw materials that have an absence of documentation from the supplier. Because if you have that supplier documentation already and you have those lab results already, you actually will fall into all of the exemptions that are listed here. So that is it. That is all. It's Friday. We're going to cut it short and sweet today. There's a lot to know and a lot to understand about product specifications and the evidence that we need to be able to supply to the government if ever we are called upon to do so. Again, just one final, I guess, recommendation. Those MSDS sheets and product specification sheets and lab results and GCMS results that we get from our suppliers, they should all be scanned onto your computer. They should all be linked to the ingredient inventory spreadsheet. And additionally, they should all be kept in a binder for easy access and easy reference. And that is all for today, folks. It is Friday. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend ahead. And we will chat again on Monday. Bye for now.